Welcome, I'm glad you've joined me today. We are going to work on a little drawing using the Zentangle method, and the pattern we're using today is called Hollis. This isn't a pattern that I made up. This is an original pattern from Rick and Maria over at Zentangle. And if you are posting to Instagram and you want to use any hashtags, you can do Hollis, Zentangle, Mind-Unwind 3 Kasey, and Tangling with Kasey. So let's get started. I am working on a 3x3 Zentangle tile. You can work on any surface you want. I'm going to start with a pencil, and then I'm going to use just a felt tip marker. You know what? On this one, we don't even really need to start with a pencil. Well, but we will anyway. All right. First thing we're going to do is always kind of just take a moment and put 4 little dots over in the corner of our square, circle, whatever you're drawing in. I like a square. If you want to draw in a triangle, you can. But I'm going to sort of set the boundaries for myself by adding these 4 tiny pencil dots. And now I'm going to draw a square. You can draw a square, you can make it wavy, you can make these edges straight, 100% your choice. I'm going to make these sort of straight. All right. And I do like to encourage you not to erase. Just make the best of whatever's going on. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. All right, the first thing we're going to do in this pattern is draw a little hook. I'm switching over to my marker because, excuse me, from this point on, we're not going to erase. We're going to work with whatever we do, okay? Let's go. All right, step 1, we're going to make a little hook, kind of like this. We're gonna bend it over and come back down. So we have this little, it looks like we're looking at the top of a shepherd's crook, right? Okay. Now, from the bottom of this one on the other side, we're kind of gonna start here right at the top, and we'll go up and we'll make one, but we are going in the other direction. And we're going to come back over, but we're not going to end there. We're going to go all the way down. Got it? Then we will do the same thing over here. So we can make another one that goes up and hooks over and comes around. And it's going to come down right there. So you get the gist of what we're doing. And you can go from any of these joints up and around however you want to. I am going to, let's see, let's make one going this way over here. This one's kind of small. That wasn't really what I wanted to do, but nobody has to know about it. All right. And then we can make them going any direction that we would like. Coming out of here. And then we can kind of do the same thing we did before. So we'll just turn the paper. And we can have another one going up and over this way. And it can come down and connect there. So they can be kind of curly, or they don't have to. They can overlap, that's all right too. They can kind of go around and about. So I'm going to come up and make one over here going this way. And then I'll come down to where it started. I think the magic of this one is making sure that we do less of what I did here. This one should have come all the way down. That was my mistake. But it's okay. I'm going to work with it. It's going to move forward. All right, this one is curving this way, so I'm going to bring one off of it, curving that other way. And then I'll go all the way down to that little junction there. I kind of like the way this looks like it's making a little heart. That's fun. All right, this one's over this way, so I'm going to make this one come up and over this way. And then we'll end right there. So it's starting to look very flowy, kind of floral, very interesting. I'm liking it a lot. We can turn the paper anytime we want. There's no up, down, right, or wrong to this. So it's really whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to give this one a little up and over. And we'll come down here and make that a little bigger. And then maybe out of here. Let's make one right over here. So you can keep doing this as long as you want to. If you want to get a little fancy, and you know I do, we can also do some where we cross over, like these places that we have already drawn, we kind of draw behind. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This one curves this way. So I'm going to come up and make one that curves this way. But I am going to pretend like it started way over there. So I'm going to give it its own little piece. So you can kind of draw behind anywhere you want to with that. So let's see how I can do one up from the bottom. What if this one grows and goes all the way up and over, ooh, and around up there. So that's a really nice tall one. And every time I come to a place where I already have a section drawn, I'm just going to pick up. And that is going to help us know where that ends. So that I'm also going to make one coming up the center. Just a little bitty one right there. All right. You can keep making this shape to your heart's desire, or you can go fill in some of the little junction areas with some fun pattern. And I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to find anywhere I have this nice V shape, and I can make more. If I need more, I can do it. Anywhere I have this nice V shape, I'm going to make as big of an arc as I can. So there's an arc. I'm going to make another arc inside of it. And then in the bottom of it, I'm going to make a lot of little lines coming up to the top. Kind of like a fan. So I'm just making a little fan shape in there. Good times. And then we can do whatever we want within this shape. But I think on top, let's make a row of circles. And again, if you get to something where it's overlapping, just do that method where we draw behind. Perfect. And then on top of that, I'm going to give it, this is called an aura. We're just tracing the outline of the shapes that we've put in there. Then, in this one, we can do whatever we want, but I think I'm going to make this line a little bit thicker. And I'm going to make this line a little bit thicker. And then inside there, I'm going to simply have kind of a little checkerboard. And I can come in and color those or shade them later if I want to. And then on each of these little round orbs, let's make a little reflection. There we go. So now we have a little decorative element, and we can find other places to add that as well. So if you see any places that it might work, like here, I think I can add a little fan shape. And then I have that line. And then I have orbs on top of it. And then what are we doing here? We just did the lines. Get that back in the middle for you. So we've got our lines in there. You can always come back and color this, shade it, add more pattern, whatever you feel like doing. So there's my fan. And then what are we doing? We're gonna separate these into checkerboard type squares. And then bold this line, bold this line, add a little reflecty thing to each of these, and then we will aura the outside there. Here we go. So you can do that in any of those spaces where it might fit. I think I see one. Oh, I just saw it. Okay. I think I see one here. And this one can be kind of big. All right. So we have our first row. And then where would the middle of this fan be? It would be right here. So we're going to go up and out this way. And you can see this is simply lines and circles. And they're not perfect circles. Maybe we should call them orbs. Mine are not very perfect anyway. And then I'm going to put my orbs up here. Hello, little orbs. And I'm coming up against this pencil line, but that doesn't mean I have to stay within it. That is simply a guideline I put there for myself. Oh, maybe this one should continue. Let's do that. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go add where my other lines would be. And then I'm just going to finish adding those orbs. I'm going to give this its little checkerboard pattern. And then give my orbs their little glint. And then I'll bold those two lines. Perfect. There we go. Now, you can put these in more places if you would like to. If you're just loving them, you can add a lot more. If you're over this fan thing, you don't have to put any more. I'm not over it yet, so I'm going to add one. I'm going to add one right here, and it's going to be kind of bigger, but that's all right. And there's my border. So I'll do, let's see, it can go over to here. So the fan will be doing this motion, this action here. And however many little spokes you want in your fan, that's up to you. And then we're going to put our orbs on top. And then the little aura. And then we'll add our little detail on the orbs. We're just making them feel a little rounder. And then we'll add our, it's almost like a checkerboard that we're putting on this section. And then we'll make these arcs a little bit bolder. All right, so there we are. We have another fan. You can continue doing this throughout the whole design. You can add other designs in here if that's what you're feeling. But just go ahead and do what you want. I'm going to add another little fan here. I like this area. Remember that this art is for you. There's no contest, there's no finish line, no grade, nothing depends on this. I'm here to help you enjoy a little bit of a creative process. Take a break in your day. Give your full attention to each line you're adding to this paper and enjoy that process wholeheartedly and thoroughly. That's all you have to do right here, right now. You can decide how you want to fill in these spaces. Maybe you want to add some leaves. Maybe you want to add some other little pattern. I think I'm going to add some leaves. So I'm going to come up and around some cute little leaves, and in each of those leaves add a little center line. So now I'm floofing it out a little bit. We can do that anywhere we want. Let's do some leaves. I think we need some leaves in this section. How do I want to draw these? Okay. Kind of like half of a heart. And it follows the contour that's already there. So there's some more leaves. You can stick these wherever you want them. Like there's a great place for one here. Might even have one that comes up and over right there. They could go out, flow that way. We can add some here. And then I'm going to put that little detail right there. And where else would we like a leaf or two? Let's do right there. Maybe also over here. I will add 3 and then put that little center line there. I don't have a lot of leaves over here, so maybe I want to add some here. I can just work off this little pile of leaves. So now we've got some leaves going downward. And I like to just look for open spaces where I feel like I need more embellishment. So perhaps right here. And it can work upward because I don't want to overlap that piece I already drew, but I do want some leafies there. All right, maybe my leaves will just continue right through here. And I want to let you know, if yours is looking different than mine, that is absolutely okay. Nobody's has to look the same. They're all going to turn out different. It would be difficult for me to even do the same one twice. They would always come out looking different. And the reason being, I'm making new creative decisions every time I make another individual piece of art. I'm engaging in a new process every time I make a new piece of art. It may be a similar skill, it may be a similar shape or idea that I'm working with, but it's not going to be the same at the end. And whether this is starting to look like something for you, or it's just looking very abstract, just let yourself enjoy making all of these little shapes. And if you feel like adding a different shape or starting with something else, that's all right too. I am enjoying adding all of these leaves right now, so I'm going to continue to do that. I'm loving the way this is turning out. I did not expect to love it so much. All right. Where might we need maybe another leaf? I'm going to go right here and right here. I'm just going to curl it up in the little curve of that shape I made. And I love the way that looks, so I'm going to do it over here too. And I do like to turn my paper so that I have, you know, my hand has the same motion when I'm making these shapes. I think that makes it more pleasing to me. All right. So now is the time when I decide, am I going to square this off? Am I going to color in the background and do some stuff? How am I going to handle my leftover spots here? What I'm doing right now is having a very good time drawing all of these little leafy shapes. So I'm going to continue on with that. But if you're feeling something else, go for it. This is your art. It's just for you. It's not for anyone else. Let's see. Maybe I can add a couple more of the leafies in there. Oh, one more leaf here. That's nice. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and give this piece a ground, give it an anchor. And then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use that whole square. I'm just going to go up to here. That's going to be my back edge. So I'm free up top. I don't have to do anything, but I can. And then back here, I'll fill it in. What I'm going to fill it in with, I'm not sure. But what I think I'm going to start doing is every other of these I'm going to color in. So I have some more contrast. You can do this with color if you'd prefer. Most of the Zentangle method teaches us to work simply in pencil and black and white because we tend to have those at our disposal more often. Sometimes we just don't have a lot of colors available, or we just have a pen or a pencil wherever we are. And being able to pull out very simple materials and do this wherever you are is important. It's important to give yourself that time and space, or say to yourself, it's fine if I do this here. I don't need a lot. All I need is something to write with and something to draw on. If you don't happen to have a little square Zentangle tile. You can write your own square onto a piece of whatever you have. Maybe you have a piece of junk mail nearby. Grab that envelope, flip it over, make yourself a shape, and get started. Minimal supplies. It's nice to have the nice things, but we don't always have that. Not everybody has access to exactly the right art supplies all the time. So find what works for you, find what's available, and use that. I like to do these when I'm on hold for a long time, if I have to call somewhere to speak to customer service and I know it's going to be a while. I can sit and work on one of these designs. All right, where did I start? The bottom was there. Here we go. So all of this section, oh, you know what? I forgot my little, I forgot my aura on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. It's not too late. Okay. The part down here that's enclosed, I don't have anything right here and I kind of want something. So maybe I'm going to just add myself another little curve. And it can go all the way around there. And then I'm going to put some leaves on it. You knew I was going to do that, right? All right, so let's add some of those cute little leafies and their little stems. So now I can decide, well, what am I going to do in this middle part? And you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do the same thing as me. You don't have to do anything. But I think what I'm going to do in this middle part, maybe I'll add a few more leaves. Because I'm going to end up just coloring it in. You could add some little berries. That would be fine. Leaves, berries, whatever. Whatever works, whatever's cute, whatever you like. And then up here, you can kind of just leave it and let it be free. So I am simply going to color this part in. I could make little circles, that's an option, but I don't want to. I don't feel like making circles. I just want to color this in. So that's what I'm going to do. And if you don't feel like coloring, if you would rather make more shapes, try and fit a few more leaves in there. That is 100% up to you. I'm always counting on that our designs will turn out a little bit different as you make creative choices that are different than the creative choices I am making. When we have this time together and when you make this time for yourself, and I'm proud of you that you've made this time for yourself. It's not always easy, but when you make this time for yourself, let this art be something where you allow your mind to explore and experiment. You don't always have to do the safe thing. You don't always have to do the thing that you know how to do. But if that's where you find your comfort today, do that. If you don't feel like taking any little chances today, that's your business. That's no one else's business. Do the thing that's going to make you the most happy. I have one more little section over here that is inside this boundary line I drew. So I'm going to color it in as well. And then I can start making decisions about what's supposed to be colored in and what isn't. That's always fun. I like to color the outside of my shape first, kind of set my little boundaries. Then I can be a little more haphazard with my fun scribbly coloring there in the middle. All right, so that side is colored in and nice. So now I'm going to start over here, and I've got to figure out what belongs to a plant piece and what doesn't. I think these all belong to plant pieces, so I'm not going to color any of those. I don't think any of those are spaces. I think those are all my little, that little Hollis element that we're working with. So I'm going to color this in. And then I'm going to color these sections in over here. And then I think that's it for me. Be sure that you're remembering as you do this to breathe. Let your hand relax as it needs to. Don't ask your hand to work too hard. This is a relaxing exercise. So make sure that you're not tensing up through your shoulders. Make sure you're just relaxing and enjoying this process. That's all I am asking of you today. And I'm going to color this tiny piece in because I feel like it makes more sense. Sometimes you don't have a rationalization as to why you feel like you need to color something in or why it should go a certain way. Your brain is just making creative aesthetic decisions. You can always listen to that. If anybody else is trying to give you input and you do not want that input, I often like to invite them to work on their own piece of art and make their own creative decisions and set my creative boundary that way. Oh, why don't you do it this way? Oh, why don't you add this or that here? I'll say something like, you know, this is really fun. Do you want me to grab a piece of paper for you? We should do that. Let's do this together. I'll show you how I did it. Or maybe you just need to tell them kindly to go away, and that this is a stream of consciousness, a mindful drawing for you, and you would rather not have outside input. Maybe next time you will need some outside input, but that's not what's happening right now. Sometimes in life we've been told all the time that we need to share and we need to consider other people's feelings. But when we're making our own art, this is our time for feelings. This is our feelings that other people need to consider. It's okay to take this time for you. It's okay to set that boundary with people that this is your art and you're happy to share it with them and talk to them about it. But this is your time. And you deserve to take a little bit of time for yourself. Even if you're at work. Even if you have other priorities and things to do. I think keeping your own gas tank full, your own spiritual gas tank, however you do that, however you take time for yourself, however you do self-care, that's important in all of the roles we play with other people. If I have taken the time for myself to sit, have some peace, do the things I want to do, my interactions with everybody are going to be a lot more pleasant. The last thing I'm going to do in all of my Zentangle method designs, I like to add what's called my chop. It's my little Zentangle signature. And the one that I made up is a circle. I'll zoom in for you. It can go anywhere in your design, but mine is a circle. And it has a K in it for Kasey. And then I like to add my little heart and color it in. So that is going to be my finished piece. I like it. I think it's great. I'll come in later and I'll erase this top part here with my pencil. But I may add some color. I may do some other things. But that's it for now, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, if you're going to post to Instagram, these are some of the hashtags I'll be using when I post this one to Instagram. So feel free to do the same yourself. There it is again, and I will see you all later. Have a wonderful rest of the day or evening.